Welcome to the show, Matias Dal Pos. You are an Italian-Argentinian composer and musician based in London. You write elaborative, minimalistic chamber pop music, blending a classical string quartet and piano with synthesizers, cinematic orchestral textures, and beats. In 2022, you released your first album, followed with a second album in 2023, and the third album just released last year in 2024. I won't attempt to give the names of those. Perhaps you can elaborate on those the names of those albums and what they're all relating to. It's fantastic to have you on the show with us today, Matias. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do tell us more.
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm 29 years old. I moved to London around 6 years ago, always trying to pursue my career as a musician, as a composer. Besides that, I studied audio engineering. So I work as a live audio engineer. I do some productions, recording. I do session work for other people. Before the UK, I've been 1 year in the US. I'm living out of music. I'm loving what I do, and just like I feel like anyone else, just trying to get better, and just trying to connect with people and so on. Yeah.
Fantastic.
What part of the States did you live in?
I was living in Miami, Florida. So I was working in a couple of recording studios. I met these artists, and then we've done like this US tour. So I've been to several places. It's incredible. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay over there. So at the time, I called my ex roommate over there, who at the time just moved to London. And he's like, come over here. You're going to love it. So I just packed all my stuff and went to London. Yeah.
Great stuff.
This is wonderful. So you're combining different types of orchestral music with your piano sound. Tell us about that.
So I actually come from playing guitar a lot. I was brought up listening to the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Genesis, Phil Collins, so on, and a lot of blues artists. So I come from the guitar. I improvise a lot. I love playing everything by ear, sort of speaking. At some point, I was listening to all these artists, a couple from Italy, and in which they create all this beautiful music, instrumental, without any words involved. As in, like, they're transmitting this one feeling or sensation or whatever they're trying to communicate without saying anything. And I found that really, really interesting. I feel like at some point when COVID started, I was like, all right, this is a time for me to actually dig into that. So I had my tiny home studio, and I just started playing stuff with the piano. So, for instance, I've done 2 years of the Conservatory of Music, but I'm not really good at, how do you call it, sight reading. But I was like, I'm just going to take everything from the piano. And I started writing for string quartets. And then I just started writing, and things would come up, and things were happening. And somewhere in those 3 years, so many things happened that I just started writing songs. And, every time I was trying to add something else, like drum beats, like textures and synthesizers, and just trying to create something different from what I was doing. I want to say that before that, I was sort of a perfectionist, sort of speaking. And, I would just try to record stuff and trying to get something. But I was like, yeah, it's not quite there. It's not quite there. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start releasing songs. I'm just going to start doing what I love. And I'm saying this because I feel like the music industry right now, it's so different from what it used to be. I haven't been in the industry that long to say this, but I feel like it's changing so fast. Like everything has to be online, and, your profile, your followers and stuff. You have to release singles from now on. I was just like, you know what? It's not my style. It'll never be. So I'm just going to release stuff. So in 2022, I released the first one. And then I would just like keep writing, and things would be happening in my life, as like, I don't know, losing family members, relatives, changing things in life like COVID and stuff like that. Then the second year, I released this one that is just solo piano, and the third one, this one that is more like complex sort of speaking. And yeah, as you might have figured out, it's all related. It's like a trilogy. And yeah, so for instance, the first one is, I'm translated, right? Because all my titles are in Italian.
Yep.
But the first one is, yeah, Amongst the Dreams, I don't remember. Then the second one is Amongst the Silences in the Memories. And the last one would be Amongst the Things to Remember. It's kind of a wordplay sort of thing, but as in like, I've never knew I was gonna do this first album. The second one is sort of like the silences in the memories of the things that you go through, especially when you're a foreigner in another land and you're just trying to adapt, and the things that people don't see when you're alone. And you know, that's the second one. And the third one, I want to say some sort of celebration, even though it's a little dramatic, the music itself, but it's the things to remember that actually got you to where you are. And the way, you know, it's just to, without going further, but so like,
it's basically been an album a year for you since 2022. So 2025 next album release, what do we think? You got one in the pipeline at the moment to do for this year?
So I was talking to my manager and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to take this time to actually try to elaborate some sort of plan of playing in different places. If we can sort out some sort of tour with a reduced group or with the whole ensemble, and just trying to see if we can do something in Europe, and, you know, just trying to work my way out. And as I was saying, old school sort of thing of just going out and play. Make one fun at a time, getting to know and getting to talk to people. And I feel like the arts, music is just a matter of connecting. And if my music said something to you, that's what it's all about. So that's my plan for 2025.
Would you, when you were, if you were looking at doing a tour, just off the back of that, then would you try and take actually a full or sort of partial orchestra with you to do to have live orchestral music with you whilst you're performing? Is that the idea?
It'll be the perfect scenario actually, but it's actually not that big. It's just a string quartet. So you have four. I have a drummer and percussionist, and then me playing synthesizers and piano. So we're a total of 6. No, 7.
So you can bring everybody with you, kind of thing, and do it.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like that's the hardest part. I've done it. So for instance, it was September, I've done the presentation of the latest album at a church in Islington in London. And that was really, really cool. I mean, it was just acoustics, the place. Like so many things going on. Like you tend to play a little slower so you can let the river work and do all its magic and stuff like that. Truth is that I cannot bring a lot of people because I'm just sort of getting started. So right now, just talking to my manager, we were like, hey, I'm just gonna work a solo set, make it as interesting as possible, trying to showcase as much as you can. And little by little, maybe you just go with the first violin or the cello and just try to work something out. Or, you know, it'd be great just to take everyone on the road with me. We'll see how it goes.
You work with singers.
I didn't start doing that yet. I want to say yet, but I want to work my way around it. It'll be lovely.
Because we do social conscious music here, so the lyrical content is about healing, education, and solving problems.
Right now, I'm working as a sessionist, as I'm playing, you know, maybe guitar for somebody else. But I haven't started working as in like, hey, here's my piece of music. I would love for you to put some lyrics. I would love for you to create a melody and just go with it. As I mentioned before, this trilogy thing was a really personal thing to do. So I wanna say that at some point I'm gonna approach that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get together.
We could do something. Yeah, let's give it a go.
Okay. All right. Tom?
Sounds good. I just wanted to ask whether your sort of background in the production element of the music business, whether that's helped you personally in the kind of music that you've produced, because you've got that kind of background of kind of, you know, how to produce music and what things go with what. Has that been a particularly key help for you with what you've produced yourself?
Yeah. So for instance, the other day I was talking to a friend and we were talking about technology nowadays, and I feel like everything is been so crazy and wild.
Mhm.
The effects, the stuff they use just to produce, and then they get to a certain type of formula as well. But for me, it's been great because since I actually don't know how to write music itself, if I get a piece of paper and I have to write all the notes and stuff, it'll take me like forever. So when I plug in the keyboard into my computer and I can tell, basically I'm gonna play the piano, but it's gonna sound in violin. That's how I can get to write stuff, right? And yeah, besides that, I've been playing with many people throughout these years, and you know, this one plays folk, this one is country, this one is blues, this one is rock. So you get to take a little bit of everything, just like little pieces, and be like, I love this stuff, I love that kind of stuff, and you know, you introduce it to the moment in your life and the type of music you're creating and who you're surrounded with. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it does.
I love your sound, and I love that you using like a quartet. Is that what you do?
Yeah. So it's two violins, one
Yeah.
viola, and one cello.
Yeah. And how'd you come upon that? And are they part of your circle?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I actually tried to learn how to play the cello. I loved it. I had one, I borrowed one. It was amazing. I just couldn't really afford one.
Yeah.
It's really expensive, you know. Anyway, and I just went to study art engineering, and that was that. But I always dreamt about going back to it. And when I got here, when I got to London, I started to meet people that would play those instruments. I was like, fuck, this is a sign. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I'm so lucky that I'm actually playing along with friends. Like each member of the band are my friends. So yeah, that's a key point.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Listen, we want to thank you for coming on the show,
Yeah, appreciate your time.
taking the time to come on here and explain your sound, you know.
Thank you so much. I
Really,
appreciate
really
it.
cool.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Tom's gonna get some information from me, and so we can spread the love. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've kind of started producing music for the last few years. I presume there'll be more things coming very soon for you. So how can people see what it is you do, get hold of your music and get hold of what you're doing? Any kind of social media or website content that you've got that you can give us that we can actually spread that and promote what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually the worst at selling myself.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find me on any music platform, as like iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, whatever you prefer. The same with Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. I haven't done myself a web page, but I'm working on that. But yeah, and I'm mainly playing in London. If anyone's around, I'm just trying to get out there, trying to get out of my bedroom and, you know, actually be there.
No worries. We can put those links, I'll find those links for you and pop those on the description of the video here so people can go off and check that out and promote what you're doing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Bless you for coming on, my brother. Namaste. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Matias.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
All the
it.
best.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's a
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.